Welcome to the regular season finale, and its international style. From the Twin Ring Motegi in Motegi, Japan, we welcome you to live coverage of the regular season finale of the National Sim Racing League. Tonight we present to you the Thunder Special 200. Final moments of preparation are taking place. Qualifying is just about to wrap up here shortly, and we are glad that you've joined us for tonight's program. As we say, konnichiwa, friends. O genki desu ko? That means hello, how are you in Japanese. We welcome you to the regular season finale. Marty Sakala with you. So glad you could join us. Well, let's break down how tonight's race is going to go. It is set for 134 laps. That's 207 miles. Stages will end at laps 35 and 70 around the 1.5 mile oval, with just about 18 degrees of banking in the turn. 7 tires, that's for these drivers tonight. Think of this track as Darlington and Gateway, but longer and with more banking. I should say Gateway with more banking, pretty much, with how off the straightaways are here in this race. Going to be a really tough race for these drivers. I've been hearing from a lot in chatter this morning that the right front will be worn off very easily, so that could be a key factor for tonight. Also about holding your line as well, because with this newer setup that is set for the 670 horsepower package, not low downforce on the current looks of it, but is set for low downforce. It really makes it a tough test to run multiple grooves. There's only one groove here that matters, and that is the low line. Final minutes of qualifying just taking place at the moment. Let's take a look and show you the best times at the moment. And it's currently Landon Lacey that is the quickest with a 36.33 by 2/10 on Aiden Bearline in the number 13. We have got just about a 20-car field ready to take the green flag here tonight around the Japanese Oval. Last time it was known for racing here in that was really popular in the United States of America. From what I recall, it was IndyCar when they took to Twin Ring Motegi on the road course in 2011. And taking home the win that weekend was Scott Dixon. And it was on the road course. Reason why it wasn't on the oval was because of the damage that was brought during the earthquake earlier that year. Final year was ran on the oval. Elio Castroneves took home the win. Danica Patrick did win in Japan. That happened in 2008, her only IndyCar win. Yes, and won it on fuel mileage after beating out Elio Castroneves and Scott Dixon. An incredible moment for the sport, for sports overall, in general. NASCAR also did race here once. It was an exhibition race, the Coca-Cola 500. And it was Mike Skinner that took home the win for Richard Childress Racing. First oval race in Japan. And it was the first where Dale Earnhardt and Dale Jr. Raced against each other for the first time together. And it also held a K&N Pro Series West race in 1999. That race, by the way, we were talking about was a 201-lap event. A very cold race, temperatures ranging between 41 and 50 degrees. And the junior-senior battle, Junior beat Senior that day. Dale Jr. finished 6th, and Earnhardt finished in 8th. That's correct there. Went to NASCAR and killed her career, pretty much, yeah.
All right, everybody, short drivers meeting.
I will mute that as we get ready to go racing. We already talked about how the race is going to go. Stages will end at laps 35, 70, and 134. I believe the limit will just be about maybe 50 laps or so before drivers will have to come in. So we could have, or maybe 40 to 50 laps, I'm thinking. So we could see a two to three stop race here this weekend. But we are just about set to take the green flag here. Checkers are out on qualifying. Landon Lacey will start on pole position. And with that being said, let's give you the starting lineup for tonight. Landon Lacey and Aiden Bearline, they make up the front row. Row number 2, Mark Sikosi and Alan Crowell. Top 4 in the 48, 13, 91, and 9. In row number 3, it's Kayla McCarthy and Brian Wiggins. Row 4, McCarthy in the 24, Wiggins in the 1. Row number 4, Josh Susi in the 12 and Justin Diltz in the 19. Rounding out the top 10, David Smeal Jr. in the 29 and Don DeGroot in the 20. Row number 6, Tyler Isley in the 17, Briggs Swope in the 7. And in row 7, Dylan Clark in the 34 and Jimmy Barr in the 6. Row 8, Robbie Bice in the 28 and Steve Stripmatter in the 51. Row number 9, Alex Robinson in the 23, David Salter in the 8. And rounding out the field of 20 as we get set to take the green flag is Kyle Milliken in the 42 and Stan Mayberry in the 99. Just waiting for 3 more drivers to grid. They just have under a minute. Now we just need 2 more drivers. That is Mark Sikosi and Josh Susi. While we're at it, let's give you your weather report for tonight. Track temp is set at 81 degrees. It is 68 degrees here in Motegi, Japan. Set at noon on February 9th, 2022. A calm wind at 3 miles an hour with partly cloudy skies. Excuse me there. So that is what should be a fast track tonight. And we are just about set to go. 1 pace lap happening around Motegi. And you see Landon Lacey, a new iRacing number, but that Trading Paints number remains the same at number 53. Got to be very careful about the banking and the apron. It's another big key to trying to win here. Again, like I said, a 1 groove track around Motegi this weekend. And another thing that will be key is going to be throttle control. When you get back on the gas, don't want to get on it too early or else you could be headed for the wall. If you get on it too late, you'll lose a lot of time in the straightaways. But it will be a lot of fun tonight. 20 drivers strong are set to take the green flag in the final race of the regular season. We know Josh Susi in the number 12. He starts from position number 7. He's locked into the playoffs. He has the number 1 seed for next week. Strap in and hold on tight, race fans, because in the words of Marv Levy, Buffalo Bills head coach, where else would you rather be than right here, than right now? It is showtime in Japan. And it's Landon Lacey with the opening jump. Aiden Bearline tucks in line to second position. Mark Sikosi goes up to third. Alan Crowell stuck back in fourth as they battle for fifth. We got 1 driver all the way on the apron there, and that is Susi in the 12, who is off the pace. I think he's just going to let the race control itself at the moment because you could see drivers in the wall. As we've got a change, couple of drivers up on the outside already. Aiden Bearline was one of them, along with Alan Crowell as drivers start to tuck it right back in line. Battle happening for third position as Bearline has a run underneath on, Wiggins has a run underneath on Bearline, but he tucks it back in line. Everyone's staying single file on that low groove. Very tough to pass in the corners. You're going to want to set your pass up in the straightaway. Can't even try and set up a pass up there on the outside. You see Tyler Isley and that number 17 as Smeal nearly got in the wall when they're 4 wide off of turn 4. And one of the drivers backs out of it. I think that was Swope in the number 7. Sikosi with the fastest lap early here at a 36.54. You see more drivers still stacked up. 3 wide off the corner as you see Milliken trying to make a move in that 42 machine. It's right on board with the 42 in this corner. You see Strip Matter took a chance at sending it in up on the outside, but that is very tough to do so. Milliken looking down low on Jimmy Barr in the Larson 6. And they're 3 wide entering the corner. Strip Matter was up on the outside in the 51 as he backs out of it. Stage 1, by the way, 35 laps for those that have just joined us. Brian Wiggins, Aiden Bearline going to work early in Chevys and Dodges. That is the battle for position number 3 on the track. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties at the moment with our battle box, so we'll try and make sure we get that fixed soon. Landon Lacey just set the fastest lap of the race, 36.43. Lacey and Sikosi looking like the early contenders. The only drivers right now putting in 36.4s. Nobody on track is hitting 36.5s. One hitting 36.6s barely. That's Bearline in the 13. So a nice start so far for the top 2, Landon Lacey and Mark Sikosi. Good battles happening all around off of turn number 2. David Smeal inside on Justin Diltz. In the battle for 9th position on the track. Don DeGroot in that number 20, currently in 11th spot. Josh Susi has made a little bit of ground up after deciding to back away earlier on because he had a feeling that traffic was going to be a big factor early. That could lead to some wrecks. Now he didn't have to be up in the front and wanted to get this race all a little bit strung out to make his way up towards the front of the field. Gets by on DeGroot for 11th. As for Smeal, can't find a way by Justin Diltz just yet. Here's the battle for 3rd position. Wiggins is closed in on Aiden Bearline for the spot. Let's see here. Wiggins gets a run off of turn 4. They're pulling it up side by side. On board with the one of Wiggins. He's got the run. And Wiggins on the outbreak on Bearline. Now, how does this affect his center of the corner? Looks really good for Brian off of 2. And Wiggins has control of 3rd position. Has had a couple last few rough races driving that number 1 machine in Brian Wiggins, the Dodge SRT. He is 15th in points, though, in the playoffs. Although his last 3 races, last 6 races, I should say, all outside the top 10, hasn't finished in the top 10 since Pocono back on December 13th. Couple more drivers hitting personal best. Dylan Clark, 36.99. David Smeal, 37.01. Closer battle here. We continue to watch the Smeal-Diltz showdown. For 10th position on track, Josh Susi was able to get by both of them. So this leads to an early battle for a final stage point. Smeal gets the pass to work. Diltz lets him go. Meanwhile, in front, Susi continues to close it on down. Passes Crowell. for position number 8 on the track. A nice run early for Susie. Running faster lap times at a 36.61 last lap compared to the leader's 36.73. So he is barking down on the lead pack. Let's go back and watch Wiggins and Bearline in that battle for third once again. Show you on board what it's like around Motegi. Drivers are in turn 2. Here's the top speed in the draft. 178 miles an hour. Drivers in the brakes, keeping it in 5th gear. And like I said, got to be very careful about getting on the gas. There's a good time to get back on it. As he tries to close back in. Wiggins starting to pull away just a little bit more. Let's go behind them once again, where Smeal has passed Alan Crowell for 9th position on track, as we've got a driver already in the pits. And that driver is Alex Robinson, and I think I see some left front damage to his vehicle. And some right side damage where he may have been involved in a wreck early. And let's take a look. We'll have to rewind the footage. I know it's unprofessional to do this, but I want to see how this happened. So he was by himself and then entering the corner. Oh, man. That is extremely strange. The car just went hard left on him when he went in the turn. Very weird. Couple of showdowns we're watching. Susie is caught back up this time. Kayla McCarthy lets Susie go. And Josh Susie taking away 6th position on the track. He was slower, though, that time compared to the leader, but Susie is closing in. He's 8.5 seconds behind the leader, Landon Lacey. There's McCarthy, brand new scheme for her in the Nike number 24 Jordan machine. Loving what Air Jordan is bringing to the sport. Wish Nike could get involved, but Air Jordan is, of course, with Denny Hamlin as well as Bubba Wallace and Kurt Busch, of course, just signed that new endorsement deal with the Jordan brand. Smeal's starting to gain a little bit of time, looking inside on Kayla, and the battle for 7th position. And a nice pass is made. So 15 laps in the books this time, and it's Landon Lacey, currently a race leader, with Sikosi, Wiggins, Bearline, and Isley rounding out the top 5. We'll step aside here as we'll go side by side for the first time tonight. If trouble breaks out, we'll break in. We're back here at Twin Ring Motegi. It's the Thunder Special 200. First time National Sim Racing League Cup Series has gone outside of the United States this season, if I recall correctly. And it's been all Landon Lacey increasing the lead on Mark Sikosi by just about 2 seconds. While we were away, couple changes for position. And you'll see on your screen, Stan Mayberry has fallen out of the pack big time, currently running in the 18th position, lost 2 positions while we were away. The drivers ahead of him, that being Robbie Bice and David Salter. A couple more changes happening. Here's the battle up front for 5th position. Josh Susi and Tyler Isley going to work for 5th. Susi currently right now, his car is just stupid fast, man. Nice run for him to start the evening. Alex Robinson, we are hearing that he is out of the race, by the way. He jumped back to the pits. Let's see if we can pop up an issue on what happened to him, as he says that he was so over this. Not happy with how the car has been driving. Well, did he spin it or something? He was just about to exit pit road, then he said, you know what, I'm done. So a start in park for Alex Robinson will be credited as the last place finisher. Good battle starting to take place for 8th position as Kayla McCarthy, Dylan Clark going to work for P8. You can notice as well that front right end. It's starting to chitter chatter just a little bit. Remember, this track is not good at all on the right front tires. I would love to see a little bit of perspective on what the tire pressure, like the percentage of how it looks like, the degree and temperature when the drivers come in for their first pit stop of the evening. You'll see it with Kayla McCarthy as well when they come by across the line. Watch this right front. You see how that car is shaking? Can't really see a lot on Dylan Clark, but you can see it on Kayla. That right front started to go to waste, and she's losing time because of it. Dylan Clark closing in a lot, looking in this battle for 8th position. Meanwhile, up ahead, Tyler Isley, David Smeal Jr. going to work for 6th, and Smeal has saved the tires very well. You see it ahead of Dylan Clark. Let's ride on board McCarthy, by the way, as they go into turn 1 and 2. You can feel how much that track is shaking. Look at that chitter right there. That may be because of how bumpy turn 2 is. We'll have to see if that's happening on other cars throughout this race. But that bump is not treating McCarthy well at all. Tries the inside for 7th on Smeal. We'll see if that pays off. And when they come to the line, they'll have 10 laps to go in stage 1. McCarthy gets the entry line to work here. Let's see if she gets tight, though. Everyone's riding in turn 2 smooth, but that car is really shaking on McCarthy's end. Smeal's going to try and take advantage and try and cross over. Let's see here. Trying to get the run to stick. Dylan Clark also a part of this battle, too. Smeal shine the door, the defensive line into turn 1. Everyone keeps it going on the bottom. This is your closest battle on track for 5th position. Excuse me, for 6th position. Oh, man, that got close. McCarthy and Clark had a little bit of an echo situation. McCarthy blinked out for a moment, and out of surprise, Clark gives McCarthy the bump. The two touched, and it nearly got disastrous there. Meanwhile, Smeal wants P6 back from Isley, and instead has to tuck it back in line. Watch what happened here between McCarthy and Clark. You see the blank out, and surprise. And when she came back in, there was no such thing as going through a car at all. And you can see as well, we can pull up Crowell's on board. There is damage to the number 24 from that bump. When you think about a bump like that, that should just be a cosmetic damage bump. But that was a bump that definitely scuffed the paint, not just on the bumper, but also the spoiler. How much aero damage does McCarthy have? This should give us a better shot off of turn 2. You can see how that spoiler's dented in. That's going to be a little bit of optional damage for McCarthy when she has to come into pit road. That time, though, in turn 2, I did not see the car, though, shake. So we'll see if she has that issue again. As meanwhile, teammates going to work in Clark and Isley for 7th. Let's check, though, that right front off of McCarthy. Clark starting to chatter as well. That may have actually helped McCarthy a little bit. Reduce some of that shakiness in turn number 2, but she's still losing time, though. Clark working on the inside on Isley in the battle for 7th position. Nice pass made by Clark, one of the KTS drivers, and this is getting a little bit wild here. This is the battle for 10th. Alan Crowell, Justin Dilts. That is for a final bonus point that could be used towards the final regular season standings. Don't forget stage 1 ending 5 laps from now. Briggs Swope, we can tell you, he has gone a lap down, has fallen off the pace. He is the first car to get the free pass if necessary. You see Swope in the corner. And Lacey's right ahead. He's checked out, 6-second lead. Stan Mayberry, for those wondering, is in turn number 4. And is hoping Lacey does not catch Stan by the time Lacey crosses the start-finish line. Still watching that battle for 10th between Dilts and Crowell. This is the most exciting action we've got currently on the track. Seems like right now everyone has definitely improved their racing at the moment. After all of the races we have had this season where the racing's just gotten crazy and crazy. Even last race when we were at Michigan International Speedway, there were 15 yellows in that race. This is getting crazy now. Justin Dilts up to 9th. Isley back to 10th. That was an incredible pass by Dilts to get up there with that 2-for-1 discount, but Isley trying to fight back on that outside. And yes, he plays defense, and here we go for 10th. There goes Dilts inside, wanting 9th back. Pit road, by the way, is closed for the rest of the stage. Oh, man. Crowell extremely tight there. Drove it in really hard, and that's a big risk. It cost him 11th spot to Milliken, currently the first one out in terms of the bonus points. Back up front for 9th, and Milliken is closing in. Isley is up in no man's land right now and has to get a great drive off of turn 2 and try and hold off Milliken. Meanwhile, final lap is underway in stage 1. Milliken still the first one out as Crowell's fallen back to 12th. Nearly a car was off the pace for just a moment, and I think that is Wiggins, who was inside the top 5. I'm not sure what happened to him. He's got left side damage, and now he's outside the top 10. That is huge. Milliken is in a transfer spot. Crowell is the first one out. We are under caution meanwhile, so that does it for the stage. Is Landon Lacey is your stage 1 winner. And getting the final stage point was Kyle Milliken. So Brian Wiggins does not receive a stage point. Pit stops coming up in just a moment. We'll be right back. Pit road is open and everybody is coming on in. After stage 1 is in the books, we will put our focus on the race leader and pole sitter. Show you how he does here. Expecting Ford tires and fuel for all the drivers out there. While we're at it, appreciate you tuning in for the Thunder Special 200. Let us know in chat who you are rooting for. As always, we're glad you could join us. One driver stayed out. That's Kyle Milliken. And that is an attempt to lead a lap here and possibly get a bonus point. Long stop for Lacey. As Mark Sikosi wins the race off pit road. Milliken actually was in a glitch situation. So it's Sikosi, Susi, Bearline, Smeal, and Dilt after finishing just inside the top 10. He comes out fifth as the biggest mover in pit road. And Lacey is still in the pits. I think he's pulling a Crowder. I think Lacey is making a legit pit stop after the dominant stage 1 he had. He decided to go take a bathroom break, I think. Yep, does that burnout. Comes on out 18th. McCarthy, a slow stop, out 17th. Of course, had the optional damage. Of course, Brian Wiggins also with a long stop as well. He had some damage earlier. So we'll be right back for the restart as Mark Sikosi will bring them back in just a moment.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
One lap to go until we take the green flag, so we are just about ready to get things going for the restart. The playoffs begin next